As the Pac-12 turns, a new report today, I believe from The Athletic, says that Arizona and Gonzaga are joining the Big 12 and that Arizona will be the first to bail.
Gonzaga.
To which I tell you, I think this is completely false. I don't believe this at all. I don't believe that Arizona, A, is going anywhere on their own, or B, is going to be the first one to jump, because they just aren't that kind of institution. That's just not who Arizona is. They're a basketball-only school, essentially, because their football program hasn't done anything ever in the history of football ever forever. So Arizona is not going anywhere without Arizona State, in my opinion. And from what we've been told, they are very closely connected. And I think Gonzaga has zero impact on the Pac-12, because I think the Pac-12 is well aware that Gonzaga is not going to join the conference. So I just don't put a lot of weight into this, and it doesn't pass the common sense test. And when I look at who's going where and when it's going to happen, we are not going to see anybody defect from the Pac-12 in a hurry. That's just not going to happen. But the thing I would caution you with is all of the Pac-12 supporters who are like, you've never seen anybody ever jump laterally or transgressions. Right now, today, there are things happening we've never seen before. Every single day in sports, we've never seen it before. For an institution like Arizona or Arizona State to go to the Big 12 is absolutely possible. They've had extensive conversations. It's the same thing I tell you about Utah pretty much every day. Is it likely? No. Is it possible? Absolutely, it's possible. Have Utah, Arizona, Arizona State had extensive conversations with Brett Yormark and others in the Big 12? They have. That's been confirmed 5 different ways by multiple sources.
Right.
So it's not a question of, is it possible? The question is it likely, and when will it happen? And I'm here to tell you it's not going to happen until at least they get an offer on the table. An offer on the table where Brett Yormark says, this is the best I can do. And that has not happened yet. I think they've gotten their ESPN offer. I think they've had their conversations with Amazon. You know, I was told yesterday night that Apple TV is very hesitant to spend big dollars on sports because of the MLS situation. So I think Apple TV is very reticent right now. I just don't think that the Pac-12 has a fully vetted television deal that they are ready to present to the entire membership of the conference at this point, Jake. And until that happens, I don't see anybody leaving.
Yeah, I mean, I think, yeah, certainly if there's not an official offer or an official TV deal put in front of everybody, I don't think anybody can actually make a decision because the reality is, I think in the big picture, Pac-12 schools would love to stay in the Pac-12. I just think that's just what we've come to know about the Pac-12 and their mindset and how they view their conference. They want to stay in the conference, but the reality is they're going to have to make a decision when the Pac-12 deal inevitably comes down and they have on a piece of paper what the numbers are going to be and what it looks like and all that good stuff. But I think the reason that this report about Arizona and Gonzaga just doesn't fit is because, you know, Gonzaga just doesn't have any affiliation or any sort of connection or impact on Pac-12 schools leaving. I mean, we've been telling you Gonzaga is a school that obviously is basketball first, but the big hurdle for Gonzaga going to the Big 12 was whether or not the Big 12 would be willing to take all of Gonzaga's sports. We now know and have known for probably 2 weeks at this point, a little bit longer than that maybe, that the Big 12 is willing to take in all of Gonzaga's sports. So regardless of what the Pac-12 does, Gonzaga is in the driver's seat here. Gonzaga is in a position where they can just go when they want to. And the thing is I don't really understand how Gonzaga going with Arizona, as the report says, helps Gonzaga. Because ultimately, if you're Gonzaga in their position, all you're worried about is what benefits you and how you're going to make more money. So if you're trying to make more money, why would you want to bring yet another team into the conference? I think what you would want to do is join the conference as soon as you can, get as big a share out of the conference as you can possibly get for the TV revenue, and then go about your business. And then, you know, as far as Arizona is concerned, like, we know that President Robbins is high on the Big 12. We know that he has, you know, as he said, some affinities for the Big 12. But the reality of the situation is I don't think it's correct to say that Arizona all of a sudden just wants to jump to the front of the line and wants to be the trendsetter. I think that what Arizona wants is what's best for the state of Arizona and by extension their own program. And that would be making sure that ASU and Arizona are in the same conference at all times because there's a lot of synergy there. So to me, when we saw this report, I was just like, dude, like this just doesn't, as you said, pass the logical test, if you will. It doesn't pass the common sense test. And that to me is I feel like what we get every day on the Pac-12 in some form or fashion, whether it is, Joe Schmo reporting it or whether it is Canzano or whoever, it seems like there's always something, some story being told about the conference.
Yeah, and that's the struggle is that I think you really have to ask yourself very clearly, like what makes sense in I think you by now understand what most of the variables in this game are, right? I mean, if we're being honest with each other, I think we all know it's simply a matter of money for the TV deal. It's a matter of who's going to get the money first and where's that money coming from. I truly believe that it is that simple. But the other issue is that I don't think that we're in a position where we really know if and when the Pac-12 is going to get a legitimate TV deal. Mm-hmm. I think that is a real question. And we've been telling you that they're going to get a deal, in my opinion. And from what sources have told us directly involved with the situation, they'd like to be at ESPN. I think they're going to get a deal that's going to put a game or two a week on regular cable TV.
Yeah.
And I think they're going to get another game or two, perhaps, on a stream. I think that's their deal. All of their games are not going to be on broadcast TV. John Williams at Forbes told us that, told CBS yesterday that that sees it as almost impossible that would happen. I don't know how you get all your games on TV at this point. I just don't see it as an option.
Yeah, and I think the struggle is that you're in a place where I think that there's just not a lot of demand for your product. And this has been my main argument the whole time, that it would be one thing if you had, if you were the SEC and you had this crazy demand and you were winning national championships all the time and everybody was just pining after your product because they know that ultimately you're going to be there and you're going to be relevant and everyone's going to watch and everyone's going to consume the content. But I think, your point about Apple TV a second ago, being hesitant to spend money because of what's happened with the MLS, or frankly, in better words, what hasn't happened with the MLS, which is people watching it and consuming it and buying membership to Apple TV. When a platform like Apple TV is hesitant to spend money, just check that box, cross them off the list. Like they're not interested, because it's not a guarantee that people are going to watch Cal football or Stanford football or Oregon football. Like it's just not a guarantee for the Pac-12 the way it is for other schools. So I think that ultimately is the struggle. When you have that struggle and you combine the philosophical, stance of a lot of these presidents, it just makes for a no-win situation, because the presidents feel like, hey, TV's the only option, and we don't really have another route to go. And yeah, sure, streaming's coming, but that doesn't mean that it's here. And I think that's the trouble. So it's like, all right, if you're not in demand and you want to be on TV, good luck getting money. That is the problem and has been the problem.
Yeah, I just don't see, and again, this is just my opinion, I don't see a path forward for this particular group of presidents to be forward-thinking when it comes to stream and technology. I don't see a path forward where you can expect these guys to make the right decisions to move this conference forward. I think this group of presidents is so focused on what each one of their schools is going to make per year, they're almost, in essence, writing off streaming, because the short term is not the net gain that they're used to. But you're not going to get it in any way, shape, or form. You're not going to get that number that you're used to. I think those ships have sailed for the Pac-12. You just need to act pragmatically for the best health of the conference on the whole. And that is not doing some 3-year deal to get most of your games on TV.
Facts.
Because you're just putting a Band-Aid over it. You're going to have to go back to market in 2 years.
Yeah.
And I just don't see how that's a win. How on earth is that a win? Because I don't see that as positive and productive.
Well, and if it makes the conference feel better that they're going to survive another 3 years, I guess great. But I think the other concept within that is, hey, if you bring a deal, and we really should stop saying if, but when, because ultimately that's what and when I say sourced information, I'm talking about like 4 or 5, sometimes even 6 really high up the chain people saying pretty much the same thing, which is, hey, you're gonna be somewhere between 17 and 22 a year per school, and
that has not really changed.
No, I mean it's been consistent.
I think we have been pretty consistent that they were never going to get $30 million. Once the Big 12 made that deal, that was it. And you knew that almost as soon as they got that deal. The indicator was the smear campaign from the Pac-12.
Yeah.
Oh, they left money on the table. Okay, well, where's the money they left on the table? Where is that? Because I don't hear that rhetoric anymore. But as soon as this deal was done, they left money on the table. Oh, we'll do better than that. Well, where is that? I think the Pac-12, from the moment that Big 12 deal was done, I think they knew they were in significant deep water.
Yeah.
I think they knew, and there's really no way out of that. Really, there is no way out of that. First one in today, J-Rod says, good afternoon, gentlemen. Time to get bucked up bombshell. Yeah! Hey, man. Cheers to you.
All right, let's crack them open here.
Cheers to you. Let's
crack
go.
them open.
Harmon's has them 2 for $4, man. And we bought them out of Miami. So the rest of this week.
Yeah, we're on that Miami life, bro.
We're on that Miami life. Haven't had. Cheers, friends.
Yes. Cheers.
Have not had trouble finding Miami this week, thankfully.
Yes.
Appreciate that. Kurt Myers, the best darn sports show, period.
Appreciate you, bro.
Thank you. Lopes fan Gabe says, hit the like button. Yes, please do. Go ahead and hit the like button. We appreciate that. C. Kaufman, what's up? Mike Chase, what's up? Truck Stop Gumby says, happy Wednesday, my guy. How the heck are you? C. Kaufman says he hit the like button. Big Al Smitty. Look at all the questions on Bucked Up.
Yeah, let's go.
I love it. Miami are great bucked up. Well, I will tell you, in the can, you're not beating Miami. I'm telling you, for my money, Miami's the best flavor.
Yeah.
But when you're doing BCAs at buckedup.com, the racked BCAs in grape, creme della, can't beat them. I'm telling you, the flavor's amazing. Let's see. Eric C. What's up, my San Diego guy? Says, can we get a look at me, I'm the captain now from Jake today?
Yeah, I mean, if that's what you need to get it going, I mean, I guess it's just random. I don't know. All right.
Do you have a drop?
No, I don't have a drop. I don't have that drop. Are you kidding? Look at me. Look at me. I am the captain now.
I love it. What's up? Patrick Boren says, AZ schools packing ready to drive to Texas Tech. I do think the Arizona schools will be the first to jump. I have almost no doubt about that. I think Stanford, Cal, Oregon, Washington are tied together. And I have no read on what Colorado and Utah are going to do.
Yeah.
Because I think Colorado needs time. Colorado needs the long game here. Because I think they need some time for Dion to get up and running. I think that's absolutely critical for them. He needs to start winning games as soon as they can, because that's just going to raise their profile and raise their value.
Yep.
So I think they need to play the long game. I do. I think they need to play the long game. There's plenty of toast for all the butter.
Yes.
Says, hope everyone has a nice day. Wow.
You're casual.
Wow, I like it. Smitley says, let's go. Got my bucked up shaker cup, green and black. Hey, the best shaker cup in the business. In the description below, there's a link to get your free bucked up shaker cup and 3 free samples. I'm telling you to get the pre-workout if you're a workout guy like we are. I admit my lazy ass did not get out of bed today. I did not go to the gym because, of course, the weather folks told us it was going to be snowy and miserable. It's not. It's sunny and like 45 degrees.
Do you even lift?
in Salt Lake City today. So Nate Simon says, hi, guys. Hello. Lopes fan Gabe says, my son's circle of friends can't stop with this stupid Logan Paul KSI drink. What is does Logan Paul have an energy drink?
Apparently.
Okay. I'm not. Am I the only one here that's not a Logan Paul fan? Can somebody help me?
Am I the only one here who's not a fan of the Paul brothers?
Yeah, I'm not at all. I am not at all. Not even a little bit. Mr. Preston says, happy Wednesday, casuals. Let's go. I'm about to throw back my Miami bucked up in preparation for the show. Let's go. John Famlore, what's up, fam? Says, didn't they just put out a short saying no one had any plans to leave the Pac-12? No. What we did is put out a short because we were told that nobody is going to jump until the TV deal's done. But again, this is not our deal. So there you go. Charles M says they changed their positions when they changed their underwear, and yet here you are every day, Charles.
Still listening, still
every
coming in,
single
trying
day,
to troll
every single day, which is why we don't read your comments. Jacob DeLambo, new member of the show.
Okay,
hey,
let me pull it out
go,
here.
DeLambo. Let's go.
Attaboy.
Let's go. I love it. Chad Master says, rip gold and blue, dude. Memory eternal. Indeed he do. Appreciate that. For those of you who don't know, Golden Blue Dude passed away from complications with Crohn's disease yesterday. That broke during the show, so we appreciate all of your good tidings there. Lopes fan Gabe says, let's go to Lambo. Indeed he do. Let's go to Lambo. Christopher Shannon says, you watch Tulane versus Louisiana. I think Tulane's got value, but they've won one game. That's the bottom line, right? They beat USC.
Yeah.
They beat USC. They had a really good year last year. But
I'm the best there is.
I mean, if we're being honest, isn't Tulane living off of that victory in the bowl game against USC?
If you ain't first, you're last.
I mean, right now they're first because that was the last game of the year.
Yeah.
You know, if we're being
that's the
honest,
truth, yeah.
Right?
Yes.
That's my opinion. Nate says, for the schools that are changing conferences next year and made the NCAA tournament this year, will the credits they earned this year transfer to the new conferences? No, they stay with the old. They stay with the old.
Yeah, because they earn those in that conference.
Yeah, it's prorated. So that's money for the conference to distribute to its members.
Yeah. It's
so,
member institutions.
Yep. Let's see. C. Kaufman says those payments are a few years behind. They are. Gumby says program. Okay.
Program.
I like it.
Program.
I like it. Whoa. Huge comment dump. We appreciate that. Two Master says bucked up, never fails. It gets you tail. See, like
see what he did there?
Rhymes.
Yeah, see what he did there?
It rhymes. You know what I'm saying? Like that's good.
See what he did there?
David Sebesta says, win one big game. Boise has been riding that horse for 15 years. Is that accurate, though? If we're being totally honest, is that accurate? Is Boise, what is the value in Boise State? If we're being just brutally honest, what is the value in Boise State? Because they were one of the early, BCS busters. I mean, they weren't, Utah was the first BCS buster.
Right.
But you have the Statue of Liberty play, the proposal on the sideline, like you had all those great moments. But when is the last time that Boise State was truly relevant nationally?
Yeah, man, it's been a long time.
A decade at least.
Yeah.
Right? And
has to have been.
You look at Chris Peterson leaving there, certainly you have to trace it back to that. Right? He goes to Washington and brings them to the top of the conference. I just don't I don't see Boise, I don't see Colorado State, I don't see Fresno State having tons of value.
Yeah.
I don't see there being just, pots of gold in each one of those towns. Now, if Boise finishes this renovation that they're doing campus-wide on all their sports facilities, if they start winning and they recruit at a higher level, and okay, maybe we can have that conversation. But truly, if you look at Boise versus Utah State,
yeah,
is one really that much more valuable than the other?
No, and I think the struggle is that locationally you're not in some huge market. I mean, that's literally, to me, right now, that's the only reason San Diego State's even in the conversation is because they are in Southern California and they did go deep in the tournament. Like they have that very fortunate combination.
Yeah. I agree. Truck Stop Gumby says Smurf turf. Yes. Bryce Martin says, different topic. If Texas wins the Big 12, do you think that delegitimizes the conference and will make them less appealing to potential future members? Not at all.
Nah.
And I think Sark has a lot of proving to do at Texas. If we're, again, if we want to get down to brass tacks and we want to truth tell about Texas, let's be very honest.
Yeah.
They're a bust like every year. You feel like Texas should, shouldn't Texas have won the national championship based on summertime hype for like the last decade?
Yeah.
Right? But now he's got a legitimate staff. He's got one of the best defensive staffs in the country. They have all of the talent you need at quarterback, obviously, with Arch Manning and the depth that they have there. Like, there's no reason they should not win. If they do not win this year and the next 5 years, I think you're clearly pointing the finger at Steve Sarkisian.
Yes.
But I don't know if I should say I'm of the belief. I think there is something to this idea that Texas is cursed. Like, they just have not come through. There is whatever the bad juju is, whatever Taysom Hill from BYU did, jumping over them. Like, they've just they've never recovered from that. They've not been relevant. Mac is gone. Like, he's at North Carolina. Like, you're not that guy anymore.
Yeah.
And they're not dissimilar to USC. Only USC went and got Lincoln Riley, and all of a sudden they got a Heisman Trophy winner.
You're not that guy, pal. Trust me. You're not that guy.
You're not that dissimilar. You're this golden brand. But has Texas ever really been, that dynasty program that everybody says they are?
Yeah. When was the last time Texas was actually feared? When was the last time?
Well,
Texas
Vince Young's time at Texas, right?
I mean, we all remember that game. I remember the Texas.
Vince Young's
USC.
Young's time at Texas against the USC battles and
Yes.
I would say that's the last time they were really truly relevant.
Yeah, and that's what I'm saying. Like, I would agree that Sark's got proving to do, and I think that I don't. If they were to win the Big 12, I don't think that destabilizes the conference or delegitimizes the conference. I think it would be a nice little cherry on top, I guess, for them. But I don't think it has some negative effect.
Yeah, and I just don't think that we should be assuming that big things are coming to Austin this year. They got to earn it. They got to earn it. Seriously. Swoop. Hello, Swoop. Good to see you. BSU. Okay. Riley O'Brien, the RV king of Utah. You need an RV hookup. You see Riley O'Brien. Hey, Monty.
Hey, guys.
Hey, Monty.
Hey, guys.
Riley, how are you? Good to see you. Patrick Boren says, Bryce Martin answer. Ha, 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 ha. Texas is back. Texas is back every year. Am I wrong about that? Like, it seems like every single year we get, oh my God, Texas is coming for that.
Well, you know what it is. I mean, Fox is incredibly good at promoting them and making sure that it's Big Saturday on Fox and it's Texas and whoever they're gonna try and kick the hell out of. Like, I mean, that's just what it is. And I think and again, I mean, it's so funny we're having this opinion on the University of Texas. Is this not the same opinion we have on the Cowboys? Is this not the same opinion that we have on other teams in the state of Texas? And it just is a common denominator. It is.
But the weird thing is, tell me I'm wrong, but shouldn't Texas have been better under Tom Herman?
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
You thought when Tom Herman went to Texas, oh, shit, here we go. Here we go.
We got the momentum back. We feel good. We're recruiting. And then, you fell on your face.
Now, Sark is there, and you just almost beat Alabama.
Almost done cow, man.
But you didn't, right? That's the hard part. Tim B., how the heck are you, bud? He says, isn't there a June 30th deadline for a PAC team to give required notice to leave? Not when you don't have a grant of rights, there's not. You don't have, that grant of rights essentially is the only thing holding you to the conference. And all of that's why there's so much upheaval next year because the TV contract expires. Like, that's why you're looking at Texas and Oklahoma trying to get out of you early, paying to get out of you early because when the TV contract comes up, like.
Panic is going to set in the Pac-12 in short order because, again, and this is kind of the conversation we were having when all the presidents were out doing media rounds and talking and everything. Those guys and gals were doing that because they wanted to beat back that fire a little bit.
Correct.
Hey, the house is burning down fire. They wanted to beat that thing down a little bit. And to me, you can sit here and say all day that, oh, well, we've got all kinds of time and we're not behind and we're not off schedule because we would have just started negotiating this thing. And it's like,
everything's fine.
Everything's cool, even though we're trying to put out a 5,000
you're like
square foot house with a water hose.
You're standing in front of the conference offices that are on fire and you're like, no, this is fine.
You've got your little hose plugged into the spigot out back, and you're like, yeah, it's fine. Here, let me squeeze my little water hose head.
What's a little smoke damage?
Come on, dude.
Who doesn't like a little smoke inhalation?
Waves in opposition.
You know.
Come on, dude.
That's what it feels like in the Pac-12.
But the point is that the grant of right's running out, right? The grant of right's expiring. Every day that goes by, you're one day closer, one less day to get a deal done. And I'm telling you, once you get inside of,
I don't disagree with that at all.
Dude, like once you get inside of probably, I don't know, 300 days, or once you're inside of a year that thing's expired, I mean, you have to start panicking on some level.
Yeah, on some level.
Right? Like you got to start saying, okay, hey, we've only got a year left here. What are we doing?
Yeah.
Like, it's crazy.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know what the answer to that is. I really don't know what the answer to that is. And I think, to me anyways, I guess I could be wrong, but I think inside the conference there's been a ton of panic. I think if we're being totally honest about it, I think the level of panic is directly tied to the delay in this TV contract. You want to talk about destabilizing a conference.
This is a code 10 abort.
You've destabilized this conference.
Yeah.
By overvaluing yourself and not understanding who you are and where you are. And you can say what you want about Texas, for instance. Say what you want about Texas and Oklahoma. Those are desired brands. There's more desire in the Texas-Oklahoma brand than there is in the remainder of the Pac-12, if we're being brutally honest. All right? Like Oklahoma and Washington certainly ain't Texas and Oklahoma. And I think the real issue is that you don't have a guy who can even understand how to pull the parachute, right? It can't pull the ripcord and get a deal done here. And every day that goes on, a new rumor. And I'm telling you straight up, hey, nobody's ready to jump today, but I don't care what any Pac-12 insider says. Every one of these schools, essentially, I think the 6 schools, Oregon, Washington, the Arizona schools, Colorado, and Utah, I know factually everybody but Oregon, and I've been told Oregon has talked to the Big 12. Everybody but Oregon, I can tell you multiple ways we've confirmed have talked to the Big 12.
Facts.
Now, I don't believe for a second that Oregon and Washington are going to the Big 12. I just don't think that they will do that.
Yeah.
I think Oregon, Washington, Cal, Stanford, and Utah will sit in the Pac-12 until the house is burned down and the smoldering is stopped. Then they will be like, well, shit, a storm's coming. We better find somewhere to live. Like, I honestly, I think that's what it'll be, because I just think they value each other so much more than they would value going to the Big 12. Now, having said that, I think the Arizona schools, I think Colorado, I am certain that if you called Corvallis or the Palouse today, that'd be done. I am almost certain that those 4 schools would be happy to make it happen.
Yeah.
Happy to. I think Colorado would be happy to make it happen. I do. Half of me says if you had an equal valuation, I think Nebraska would be happy to make it happen.
Yeah.
Honest to goodness, I think Nebraska realizes that the mistake they made chasing the almighty dollar, they are absolutely irrelevant in the Big Ten.
Yeah.
Absolutely irrelevant. So I think it's interesting. Ty Hendricks gives us $1.99 to say, great show today, guys. Horns down. Appreciate you. Thanks for being here, Ty Hendricks. Let's see. Alan Tran says he lied. Okay.
Who lied?
I have no idea. No idea. It's just really interesting to me to see that all of the panic is what's so interesting to me. Let's see. Patrick Bourne, a member, says Monty on point today. Appreciate that. Alan Tran says they have to get rid of the Longhorn Network. Well, the Longhorn Network's dead. Tier 3 rights don't exist anymore.
Yeah.
That's just, if you look at the deals, and why do you need the Longhorn Network, right? Like, that's not something that has been, I don't know what's the right way to say it. That's not something that's been prolific. That's not something that's been, like that's made you very little money.
Right.
So I don't think anybody minds that. The question's going to be who's going to transform the way they do business? Who's going to, instead of, hey, let's have our softball game on the Longhorn Network, who's going to say, well, hey, let's make one-off insider content on the football team, the basketball team, and, like here in Utah, it would be the Red Rocks, or take me behind the scenes, right? Like they're doing at the Masters. They have everybody mic'd up at the Masters now, or that's when the game's going to change. And you're going to put that on your YouTube and your social. That's when you're going to really start making more money.
Yes.
And you're going to put a Boeing logo on that, let's say for Washington, or that's when it'll get serious. When you start operating like a lot of the production house schools, for instance, BYU TV is no longer a major player in sports. It had been, and I think BYU Sports Nation will always be. But BYU's not just going to shut down their TV channels. BYU's not just going to shut down their Sirius XM channel.
Yeah.
They're not going to do that. What are they going to do? They're going to continue to put out great content just like they always do. Their practice stuff, their uniform reveals, their one-off stuff that makes them money, brings them following, brings them prestige. That's the kind of thing that it shocks me that every school doesn't do it.
Yeah.
That every school doesn't do it, that every football team in the NFL doesn't do it. The teams run away from, the hard knocks stuff. Why would you run away from hard knocks? Because you don't embrace it. Because you're scared about what people are going to see, when it should be just the opposite. You should be doing hard knocks already.
Yep.
You should be doing that all year long. But it's amazing to me, specifically in the box of this conversation, it's amazing to me how many schools have no idea how this works. They just don't. They don't know. They don't embrace YouTube.
Well, the funny thing is they teach it, right? Like YouTube courses and like I'll just throw it under the marketing umbrella for now. But like whether you want to call it content creation or whatever label you want to put on it, know for a fact it's in. There's courses available at major universities to learn how to do this stuff. So it's always been amazing to me that like, hey, you have a professor on campus teaching it. And you're telling me that the kids that are learning how to do this stuff wouldn't love the opportunity to be in the Texas locker room when something crazy happens, or to be in the Utes locker room when they win a third consecutive Pac-12 championship, or whatever moment you want to like, dude, like, come on, man. Like it to me, it's just a lack of understanding about how important it is to create one-off content that nobody can get anywhere else but where you put it.
Yeah, totally agree. It's shocking to me. It is really, because if you guys think about the way you enjoy your football, right? Like if you're a fan of, who's in the chat right now, if you're Swoop's in the chat right now, if you're a Utah fan, would you not love to see Jim Harding working with the offensive line? Would you not love to see when Eric Weddle comes to practice, his interactions, or Morgan Scalley working with, his DBs, or Kyle Whittingham with his hands on his players? And like, wouldn't you love to go behind the scenes for the lead up to the SC game last year?
Wouldn't you love to be in the quarterback room with Cam Rising?
Right? Like, those are the things that you're just trying to figure that out. If you're at BYU, wouldn't you love to be behind the scenes when Kalani Sitake's making massive coaching changes? That's what we all want to see. And we want to see wins, and we want to see guys crying because it's senior night.
Yeah.
And we want to be in their apartments, and we want to be at home, and we want to be on the bus. But who's willing to do that? Who's willing? What school is willing to do that? You know who's willing to do it? Your boy, Deion Sanders.
Stay hard.
That's who's willing to do it. Your guy, Deion Sanders,
yes, he is,
has a camera that follows him everywhere he goes.
Yes.
Home, office, taking a dump, going in the pool.
What's up, big bro?
Checking the mail. There's a camera.
Yeah. Yep.
And that's how it should be. And
that's how it has to be.
That's why there's so much excitement around him.
Yep.
And yet so many people will not do it.
Yeah.
So many people just won't do it. And so many people have yet to go to BBQ Pit Stop, bbqpitstop.com, the best barbecue equipment in this here country, bbqpitstop.com. Shop online. You know the best part about their website? You can chat with them online customer or not, hey, I got this Traeger smoker. I have a ham for Easter. How long do I need to let this 5-pound ham? Hey, I'm making wings or I'm making tomahawks. They'll give you advice on it. You can shop on their website. And anytime you hear BBQ Pit Stop, I'm telling you right now, you just need to think, hey, this is the best barbecue equipment in the business, right? Because you're getting Yoder, Traeger, Big Green Egg, Camp Chef. They've got them all. Everyone you want. Now, I'm a Traeger guy. Ironwood 885. Hey, baby. Right? Like incredibly sexy.
Yes.
I'm telling you now, they've got all of them. And they've got all the accoutrements. You need a mat for the ground so the ground doesn't get dirty. You need a cover. You're going to invest in a smoker. Cover's absolutely imperative.
Yes.
Imperative. You also want that asado seasoning, the best seasoning in the barbecue game.
Yes.
And I mean, put it on your wings, put it on your eggs. Asado seasoning on eggs. Oh, my God.
Yep.
It will change your life. Get it at bbqpitstop.com. If you're in Utah, check out any of their soon-to-be 6 locations. Logan, Layton, Lehigh,
Payson.
Payson opens up on the 14th. They have their grand opening a week from Friday. They're also in St. George. They're also in Murray across from the mall. I'm telling you guys, BBQ Pit Stop, the best in the business, bbqpitstop.com. Talking about all these wild rumors today about, that it is incredible to me how many people are like, well, this is it. I can't even keep track of the Pac-12 nonsense.
Yeah.
Like, one of the things I've trained myself not to do is not to read Twitter on the Pac-12.
Yeah, I've been immunized.
Like, hey, if I'm not getting it from a major news source, I'm not getting it at all.
Yeah.
Nate Davis. Yeah, Utah needs the behind the scenes from Friday. I would love to see Kyle and him talk. I would love to see Cam and talk to his mom. Well, think about them at the Rose Bowl.
Yes.
Think about them at the Rose Bowl, man.
But, like, you see what Utah is doing. Like, Utah creates, like, one-off video here and there, right? Like they created a video when Utah went to the Rose Bowl, right? They did that. And they create a kind of a recap video after each game. But you're not getting, I guess the best way to say it is, yes, Utah creates some content. They do. But you're not getting, like, that real valuable, can't get it anywhere else type stuff. I mean, I can get a hype video. I can get, hey, like, wow, look at this beautiful cinematic video. And it is beautiful. They do a great job, 100%. But it is not NFL players struggling to work through COVID protocol during the pandemic. It's not, Tom Brady behind the scenes. It's not, the Dallas Cowboys. It's not, you know what I mean? Like, it's not that behind the scenes stuff that it, like, one of the greatest moments in Hard Knocks in the last couple of seasons was Dak bringing, or it might have been Zeke giving Dak, Louis Vuitton stuff. Like, you just don't get to see that stuff. And I wish that colleges would be more open to it, because they kind of do it now, but they just don't do it to a proper level. Yeah,
I think it is. I think it's fascinating. I really do. Elaine Tran, excuse me, Dion Coach of the Year. You're like into it. You're on that rail.
Yeah, I mean, I think he has the potential to do great things.
Yep, I agree. Jaron Eccles, what's up, my guy? Full Swing did an amazing job showing behind the scenes in men's golf. Absolutely loved it, dude. Loved it.
But you see what I mean? That's a perfect example.
Loved it.
Yeah.
You loved it. You say, let's see, Craig Kirsch. I don't know who Craig Kirsch is. Said that you're defending college football when in a nation of 330 million people, 17 tune in to watch its championship game, less than 5%. Linear TV has another decade at most. Yeah, I totally disagree with that. I think that is, I think that's way, way off. Goat Head Prime says Dion the Goat. Dion the Goat. Hey, man. Gary Singer says, I missed the first 10 minutes of the Monty Show. Are they reporting that Arizona and Arizona State most likely will? No, I'm not. We're not reporting that. We were talking about an AZ Central report. There are a bunch of reports that say Arizona is the first one to jump, and We're just telling settle down.
Schemers trying to control their little world.
Just
Settle down.
relax.
Settle down.
Relax.
The main one is at AZ Central. If you're a member of AZ Central, you can read it. If you're not, sorry to hear that. But there's an AZ Central report that Arizona, even though it said something to the effect of, and I think it's complete trash in my opinion, that even though that, they've denied reports that they are undoubtedly lining up a move, relax. I don't think they're going anywhere. I don't. And I still maintain that nobody is going to make a move until the Pac-12 TV deal is done.
Yeah.
Nobody is going to do that. Brett Burnett says Taysom Hill really hurt Texas. Every Texan gets worked up when talking about Taysom Hill. He dominated them. That's in my opinion, that is one of the greatest plays in Bronco Mendenhall's 10 years as coach at BYU.
It's my quarterback.
Taysom Hill jumping over that. I mean, that's just me.
Yeah.
That's just me. Goathead Prime says, hey, Monty, how long do I cook my goat? He's looking at me funny. Excellent. Bryce Martin says, Twitter, only place where you'll get two stories that are both lies and you have to find the truth in the middle. It's ridiculous.
It is.
If you're getting your stuff off of Twitter, you're doing it wrong.
Yeah.
I'm telling you now that it's just not.
It's a problem. I mean, there's no question about
don't do it.
It's a problem.
Don't do it.
You're asking for trouble, man.
I am. Don't say we didn't warn you. Don't say we didn't warn you. Let's see. Kialani says, I love how his opinion isn't backed by facts. What opinion are you talking about?
Whose opinion?
Yeah. Let's see. Roman Moroni. Nebraska isn't irrelevant. It's not irrelevant.
Just stop right there, bro.
That volleyball. Yeah, I probably should.
Just stop right there, bro.
That volleyball team is not only good, but smoking. You need to get your priorities right. Okay, well, thank you for clarifying. I'm a big fan of volleyball uniforms. I am. Good. I'm a big fan. But it's fine. David Sebesta, AZ Central about as credible as a National Enquirer. Well, I think the problem for people like AZ Central, when you have a paywall up, you have to be sensational. It's a problem we deal with in Salt Lake City all the time.
Yep.
The Salt Lake Tribune is brutal. It's absolutely brutal. And why is that? Because they put up headlines that are complete BS so that you'll buy the subscription to their digital site.
Oh my God, the Utah Jazz were ashamed of homeless people on the street?
Yeah, dude. I'm telling you.
Come
on. Goathead Prime. I've read far too many of your comments already. Coach Prime told the GOAT, let's go little GOAT and play with the Big 12. Yeah, I'm sure he did. It's too early to be day drinking.